What is unconditional love? From more of a 3D level of consciousness, unawakened or less awakened level of perspective, to a higher consciousness and awakened level of perspective. Especially in romantic love, I'll start with that, but I guess the same can be applied to family, to friends as well. In romantic love, you love someone because they tick certain boxes. They either have similar values, have certain characters, personality, interest, hobbies, looks, live in a certain geographical region, maybe, that suits you. It seems to match, it seems to click. We seem to be aligned, we seem to match. And you love this person so much. And from there, you're willing to sacrifice much of your own needs or your own demands or your own life, even for that person. And that is unconditional love. At least that's the way that our 3D perspective is. And this is not about right or wrong. This is just what I'm about to share is about seeing what unconditional love is from a higher perspective, what that would look like. Now, we say that that's unconditional love for that person. But the minute that that person starts to cheat on you, that start to lie to you, that start to be temperamental, be abusive, physical abuse, emotional abuse, whatever, then that so-called unconditional, which means no condition, is suddenly taken away. And even the people around will say that, nah, that person is abusive, you should not stay with that person. And this is obviously not relationship coaching, whether you should be with someone or not be someone. This is more about challenging the definition of unconditional love. Because what is unconditional love? Is unconditional under certain circumstances. I love my kids unconditionally until they do an act is so bad that I cannot forgive them. Well, usually we have more unconditional, even less condition with our children than our intimate partner. Somehow like it's ours. And so we have even less condition. So if anything, that's probably more closely tied to what unconditional love is. But what if the DNA reports comes through to say that is not my child? What if I haven't had years and years of bond with that child? And I've only seen that child for that baby for maybe a day, 2 days. Suddenly within the first 1 or 2 days, I can, man, this is so cute. I've got such a connection to it. I can give it unconditional love. I will give you unconditional love. And then 2 days later, you get a call from the hospital to say there's been a mix up in the baby. And so you find your actual son or daughter and it's like, wow, like this is the one I'm giving unconditional love to. What about the one that you just declare that you'll give unconditional love to like a day earlier? So suddenly that is based on condition as well. I'll give you unconditional as long as you are related to me, as long as you are really mine. So see the irony of the label that we give unconditional. Is really unconditional? That's the question that we should ponder over. Rather than just unconditional love, as long as it's within these narrow boundaries that I have, that I need to control. If I'm someone that I don't condone drug abuse, gambling addictions, and cheating, and so on and so forth, now you may have a greater tolerance, understanding, empathy towards the other person. I may not agree to the gambling, the drug addiction, the alcohol abuse, the cheating, but I can understand. I'm doing the inner work and I can see that is a catalyst for me to grow. And if I clear all the stuff that I'm getting triggered by, if I do enough of the shadow work and the inner work, I could still feel beautiful in that current state. And there's a lot more forgiveness, there's a lot more understanding, there's a lot more compassion. And rather than you getting peed off in little things like whether the toilet seat is up or down, or someone needs to behave a certain way for you to be happy, you have a greater ability to love, a greater capacity to love. So that's kind of like another level up from what the unconditional love is. When we say even unconditional love at the 3D level, at the unawakened level with our kids, will unconditionally love you until the moment that you do something that triggers me, that why are your socks everywhere? If you're not going to come home from dinner, why didn't you call? That's coming from fear. That's not unconditional love. That's loving if you call me to let you know that you're not going to come home. And fast forward to the next level, which we're on, well, there's greater understanding. They didn't call. Maybe the universe has a lesson for me. There are times that I myself haven't called. And it's a lot of opportunity for self-reflection. And again, from that person not calling, from your kids not calling you, coming back from dinner, rather than projecting fear through stress, anger, frustration, again, it's love, because you have the empathy, you have the understanding towards that situation. And I've gone through these stages and I've drifted through these stages. And then there's another level above that. You start to transcend beyond just understanding. You see from the perspective of appreciating, because everything is you. Everything is one. And I'm not just talking about, hey, we should just love everything because it's all our creation. The third levels would look like we are free spirits. And I came seemingly having this ability to control so we can be more disciplined with our budgeting and our finances. But she have this free spirit, kind of like the feminine embodiment that is not bounded by structures, by rules. It's just to be free to just explore, to just experience. And she can spend without having those, oh, I shouldn't spend, without feeling guilty about it. Wow, what a gift. You start watching children play without boundaries. You shouldn't play right now because we're in the library. You shouldn't play right now because now it's like reading time and it's bedtime. You should be quiet. But they're not bounded by the limits, the beliefs that we've been conditioned with. So when you can appreciate the other person having such a gift, I never want to take that away from her. In fact, if I can continue to support her to be free, what a gift. It's like you see your kids having certain potential. They're good at soccer, they're good at arts, they're good at engineering, and you do all you can. You may work double shift or whatever, you may drive an extra 2 hours on the weekends just to support them to pursue that path. But what if it's like, wow, she can spend with no limit? I'm going to do all I can to make more to support her in her path. Also, I can spend less to support her on her path. I'm not saying that that is the only course of action. I'll just allow her to spend. But I'm talking about appreciating in that moment the beauty in the apparent shortcomings in the other person. We need to connect. And I'm bounded by the rules that where did it come from that we should only be with one partner intimately? It's been indoctrinated into us. What is unconditional love at the third level is like, wow, that person found another person to have a great experience that I couldn't even give this person. My partner must have felt great in those moments. Wow, I'm so happy for her. If I was to break it down, the people that is demonstrating at level 2, I estimate probably like 1% of the population. The people that's behaving at level 3, probably at 0.1% of the population. There are people that I know that behaves like that, but not many. It's such an interesting concept, what we deemed as unconditional love. Because if you're the creator, if you can elevate yourself from the higher perspective that I'm created everything and these are all my creation, this is what the third level or the higher love will look like. Love is what you are already. It doesn't seek anything. It already has everything.